Hi guys and welcome. In this video today what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be making myself a t-shirt type top, but what I want on my sleeves is I want floaty, full sort of lacy cuffs on the end of the sleeve. So to have that as the bottom of your sleeve, I don't want them finishing here. I want them to come down to about here because it's a top that I want to wear if I'm going out on a night, not you know, just for every day. So the fabric that I'm going to be using is this, and it's absolutely beautiful. Can you just let me fold it in off so hopefully you can see it better? It's like, it's white, but it's got like a silver, almost like silver leaf running through it. So it's a beautiful and it's stretch, so it's like a t-shirty fabric which got some stretch in it. So I've got one of my favourite t-shirts basically that I'm going to take the pattern off, but then what I'm going to do is the sleeve. I bought a pattern last week, and if you look at this type of sleeve, this is the type of thing I'm looking for, but in lace, not just self fabric. So I've actually cut the sleeve pattern off this pattern, but what I need to do is we're doing that is the top of the sleeve pattern on here. That's not the shape that's going to go on the t-shirt because it's not going to match this type of sleeve top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around the top of this sleeve to get the top that I need to match the bodice, but then I'm going to put that pattern on to give me the rest of the arm length. I'm just looking there how much. Yeah, I think it's got a similar type stretch into it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger. Now normally I turn it inside out and cut it to the same as what it is, because I will be stitching it together, overlocking it, but I'm not. I'm going to cut it a bit wider, because if there is any difference with the stretch, that this isn't as much as that, it's going to fit tighter. So I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger because I can always downsize it. So let me just get up the side, and I'm following the shape there. So I'm being quite generous with my cut, and then because I want to shape it, so I'm going to pull this down so I'm not overstretching. I'm going to tuck this sleeve inside. Right, so I'm not going to be as generous on the armhole. Knocking that down now. Okay, so I'm going to put that colour to colour if you like. Obviously struggling to get that. There we go. Get that there. And then I'm just going to follow the armhole of what I've got there, so let me just fix that a little bit over and that a little bit down there. Right, that'll do fine, and then I'm just going to follow this sleeve all down, that little bit off there, a little bit off here that's right, so that is the same arms on each side now, so that is cut fine now. Lay this on, but I'm going to put it right side to right side fabric at this point. So let me just get that laid on top there. So let me cut that, and then what I'll do is then as I'll cut that bottom down. So I'm going to cut this out basically to the same pattern as what this one is. Okay, so what I'm going to do here then, I'm going to make this bottom a bigger swoop. So let me just get both of those, lay that down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up this side there we go, and then I'm going to take one of these, I'm going to fold them in half like this, because what I want to do now is I want to cut the scoop of the neck. Right, so let me just see how deep it is, this one, because I do want it a little bit deeper than what this is. So let me fold that in half. Got my shoulders there and it's coming down to here. So let me just bring it from here and I come across, and I'm literally going to curve it round, and then I'm going to go straight up to the top. So what I'm going to do now then, so that's my front and my back, is cut some sleeves. So I've got right sides facing each other, and then the sleeve here, which I need to get the shape of. So this sleeve here, which is the t-shirt sleeve, okay, this is what I need to be placing on the fold, the top of the sleeve. So let me just get that there, and then I just need to cut initially the top shape of the sleeve. Right, so I'm just going to mark that from there to there. And I'm putting my finger in the centre of that where I can see that the seam is, and I'm just going to mark it a bit further that way to allow for seam allowance. I'm doing that all the way down the sleeve. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to join these pen marks together. Okay, so I've just literally drawn the shape of the top. Now what I'm going to do at this point in time, I'm going to grab for this pattern piece. I'm going to fold this in half. And this pattern piece only went up to a size 14. So I am a size 18, so I have made that a little bit bigger. Right, so I'm going to take that to the top there, and then I'm going to actually cut that way. Where's the bottom of that one I've just marked? Right, so this here, that's where that's going to mark. So how's this going to come round? So I'm going to turn that over because you've got 2 length options on this sleeve, and I'm going to do it to the shortest one because obviously that lace is quite deep, isn't it? So I'm going to just draw a pen, mark across that. I'm then going to go and get my ruler, and then from the bottom of that sleeve I'm going to mark that, but that's a bit, from that end there, it's a little bit drastic that, so let me just, actually, because it's going to be like a bell bottom thing, isn't it? So let me just mark that there. Okay, and then I'm just going to do that. So let me just cut this one. Where's my scissors? Okay, so that is that. Right, so let's have a look at that open. I'm gonna put the sleeve I've just cut, I'm gonna have it face down, so the right sides are together. I'm just making sure that that's all flat, there's no ripples on top, there's no ripples underneath, and I'm just literally going to start cutting it out. So that's my 2 sleeves. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work out how long I need the sleeve and the lace to be. So I'm simply got a tape measure, and I'm going to measure this from the top, where the seam is here. I'm going to measure that from the top, and I'm going to fetch it down my arm, and I'm going to look, but I want that to be 20, I'm going to say 25 inch. So let me get my 25 inches wrote down. 25 inch, and that's from top to bottom. Okay, so first of all, the lace that I'm going to be using is, I'm going to take that up probably half an inch. No. Yeah, half an inch to allow for seam allowance. So let me put that there. And I'm going to take that there. So that is 11.5 inch deep. So that's the lace. The sleeve, I'm going to lay that out, and I'm literally going to measure it straight down the centre of the sleeve from top to bottom. And that is 23.5. So 23.5. So that's going to be 20, 30, 34, 35. So it's 10 inch too long. Okay, so I've got both my sleeves, and what I'm going to do at this point, I'm simply going to lay that, the bottom of the sleeve, on top of that lace. And then I'm just going to cut up here so that that is going to fit on there. Bring it a bit cross over here, because then we can do it a bit more, how it was a bit more bell shape, wasn't it? Right, so let me just see whether that's going to do both my sleeves. And it will if I just fetch that over. Yeah. Okay, so let me just cut this straight up the middle. Okay, and I'm just going to cut across the top there. That was going to allow for the seam allowance. So let me just fold that in half and get these spot on. Okay, right, so let me just that's allowing me seam allowance. Do the same on this one. Make sure that's flat. Okay, so there, right, so let's go to the machine. So I'm going to start off straight away by just simply attaching the lace to the top of the sleeve. So it's right side of fabrics facing each other. Right side, I'm placing the right side facing down. I've got the sleeve right side facing down, so it's the wrong side that I'm looking at. And where I've got this overlock and when I've just stitched it together, I'm going to be placing that up towards the main fabric, and then I'm going to be stitching the elastic at the same time. And I'm going to run it, where the overlocking is, I'm going to run it close to the edge where the lace is. So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to get the elastic under there. And I'm going to give it that elastic a bit of a back tack, and then I'm going to take this to the end. I'm going to pull it, so I'm stretching the elastic. Let me get that to the centre, and I'm let that end out so that I can control. Okay, and I'm making sure that when I'm turning that overlocking across up towards the top, that it's laying flat underneath. And I'm aiming to stitch right down the centre of this elastic. So as it's lying, it's actually lying smack centre in the middle of my overlock, because it's quite a thick overlock stitch that I've got. Okay, so put that down. To the centre again. I'm going to hold that tight between my thumb and my index finger. Okay. That's the first sleeve, and that's going to be, as you can see, where it's gathered there. So I'm going to do the exact same on the opposite sleeve. A little bit nearer to the end. Okay. And that there again is all nice and neatly gathered. I'm going to start off by stitching it together at the end of the sleeve. Okay. I'm going to get my hands together there. Slightly give it a little bit of help going over it. There we go. And I've got my seams together there, which is going to be under my arms. Bring that. I'm going to go in now at this point, and I'm going to actually go where I've got the overlocking that's at the bottom of the lace sleeve. I'm going to actually just put that down, and I'm just going to back tack that into place. Yeah. So it's giving me a neat finish. So I've got no cotton hanging down from that now. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to do the exact same. Stitching cottons, trimmed off, overlocking. After trying the top on, I wasn't happy with how transparent the fabric was on my front and my back. So what I've done is I've actually cut the sleeves off the top because I could afford to lose a bit of length on it because I did them longer, if you remember. So I've gone ahead and cut another front and back out, but I've actually cut 2 white out to line the top in so that it's not going to be transparent on the body. So what I'm going to do with this then, I'm going to get the lining pieces, and I'm simply going to start by overlocking all the shoulder seams. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to go to the table now, and I'm actually going to pin, clip round the neck, So what I've got here is, I've got my lining, I've got my main fabric. So I've got the fabrics right side facing right side, and I'm going to simply start by clipping all the neckline. Clip the other 2 sides. So that is all clipped, ready to stitch round. Okay guys, so I'm going to use the inside of the foot as my guideline and my marker for stitching round it. And I'm not pulling this or stretching it in any way, shape or form. I'm just letting it lie, letting it run through. Let's get this turned the right way. So what I'm going to be doing now, the next job, is to actually understitch all that seam. So I'm going to open it up. So this is the right fabric, the main fabric, and as I'm going in, this this fabric here, I'm going to make sure that it's facing towards the lining. And then where I've got the seam where it meets the seam of the lining to the main fabric, I'm actually running this where the machine foot is, the inner foot on the inside of that. That's what I'm running the seam up against to understitch it. So once that's pressed, for one, that's going to be such a neater finish. Right, so my next step, I'm just going to run around the armholes and stitch them, the linings and the main fabrics, that they are together. Make sure that they're together there, and they are. I'm just using again the outside of my inner foot on the inside here as my guideline. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to get one of the underarms. So I'm going to get the opposite side here, so I've got all the 4 pieces again. Right, so what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to actually just turn it inside out, the proper way, the right way should I say, and I'm actually going to try that on, just to make sure that it's not too big in the fitting before I get involved with doing the hem and the sleeves. So I'm going to pin the hem now, just starting to go around and pin it in place. Clip it, sorry, not pin it, I do keep saying that. Let me get the middle bit here. Right, so I'm just going to grab the sleeves and I'm going to clip those on at the same time. Okay guys, so I've already clipped one of the sleeves in, and what I've done is I've turned the sleeve the right way. I've folded it in half, making sure that that's all in half, and I'm going to get a clip and I'm going to simply put that in the top of the sleeve, so I know that that is half and the other's half. I'm then going to drop this in through the sleeve hole And where I've just clipped it, so I've got right side to right side, and I'm going to clip that at the shoulder seam on top of my shoulder. I'm then going to get the other seam and I'm going to clip that under the arm seam, so it's this seam. And then I'm simply going to go around the sleeve hole, arm hole should I say, sleeve hole, arm hole, and simply just clip it in place. Walking out of way. Okay, that's the last clip, and then we're going back to the machine. So I'm going to overlock at this point all the way around the hem. Take that clip out. Right, and I'm going to just start top stitching everything. I'm going to start off with the hem. Just pushing my overlocking again down into the seam. Little back tack to start off with. And at this point in time, what I'm doing is I'm stitching right in the centre of the overlocking. Okay, so what I've done now I'm going to go all the way around it, twin needling it. So I'm doing the second row of stitching, so it looks like, you know when you buy your t-shirts and you've got your 2 rows of stitching. With the sleeves, I'm going to run round them on the flatbed first, then I'm going to overlock them. Right, so here we go, just overlocking the sleeve edge. Okay. And you see, because I've done it on the flatbed first, it's making it so much easier. I can just whiz around this. All I'm going to do now is I'm just going to secure that overlocking that I've just done on the sleeves. So once I've stitched it down and secured it, I can just cut the excess off. No loose cottons on that one now. No loose cottons on that one. I'm going to go and press it, try it on, and then we'll compare how the first one looked where it wasn't lined to this one that is lined. See you in a moment. Okay guys, so this is the finished top, finished. I've left the back where it's shaped down, and I've tucked the front in because I've got a nice belt with my jeans. Okay guys, so this is the finished top. See there, it is much better on the back where it's not transparent, that you can see through it. I've got it tucked in my jeans at the front. So if you're looking at doing anything like this, that you've actually got some fabric that is a bit too see-through and you want to line it, all you've got to bear in mind is that you've got to cut it out exactly to the same sizing as your main fabric, because then you're not going to get any ruffles. It's just going to lay smooth underneath. That's the one thing that you just need to bear in mind if you're going to try something like this. Make sure that they're identically cut out the same. So lay your main fabric over whatever you're going to line it with and cut it out to the same spec. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care everybody, and see you soon. Bye for now.